don't suggest that everybody do what I'm about to do, but I'm just doing this to give you an example of how stable the Scamp is. In this episode, we're going to talk about everything from trailers to
motors.
We're going to talk about motors. We're going to talk about the tent. We're going to talk about
sleeping
platform. How to cook on a 12-foot boat. How to sleep on a 12-foot boat. What else? Life jackets.
How to wee on a 12-foot boat.
We could wee or not on the boat, but off the boat. You got to wee off the boat, not on it. We've just left Trial Bay and we're on our way over to Snake Island, which is just off North Bruny Island inside the D'Entrecasteaux Channel, and we're going to spend the night there. And guess what?
There's my kayak.
We bought Joe's kayak. Anyway.
It's like a little pet.
Okay, you can see here that our Scamp trailer's actually got an extended drawbar. So that gives you two advantages. It makes it a lot easier to reverse, and it makes it very handy for shallow water launching. The wheels we've got on this trailer are 12-inch. They are very small. Now combine the 12-inch wheels with the extended drawbar, and that makes a very slippery trailer, particularly on wet roads when you're going around tight corners. Let's have a look under the boat where she sits on the trailer. Now, because the Scamp is not a V-bottom hull, you can get away with using fairly simple trailers such as this one. When we got this trailer, it had 3 rollers here. One for the bow of the boat when the bow hit the trailer, and then the outside 2 rollers would take these keels. Now, the problem we had with that was occasionally, if a wave would come and pick up the boat and move it, you'd end up with the keel off a roller and in between the other roller. So what we've done, we've taken the 3 rollers off and we've put this Teflon slider on, which makes it a lot better. You can see this carpeted cover cross member here. That stops the boat from falling onto the axle when you're launching and retrieving. It also stops the centerboard from falling down onto the axle. Now, it's a good idea for any boat that you lower the centerboard when you're transporting it. The important thing is that you remember to pull the centerboard up before you launch. Otherwise, if you can imagine pushing this boat off this trailer, that centerboard's going to go bang into this. So make sure you make a note of that every time you're launching and retrieving. Centerboard down for traveling, centerboard up for launching and retrieving. This is the outboard bracket on the Gig Harbour Boatworks Scamp. There's a bracket here that the outboard bracket slides into. Let me show you how that works. So you can see here, this just slides out like this. And this is just a conventional bracket that you can buy off the shelf. But this company here, what's it called? Garlic. Garlic. That company. And then it just slides back down like this. And you've got your outboard bracket. Up. And down again. Okay. Now I've got 3 outboards to show you. I've got a 4-stroke 3.5 horsepower by Tohatsu. I've got the E-Propulsion Evo Spirit, and I've got the Torpedo Travel 1103. The Tohatsu is a short shaft, the E-Propulsion is a short shaft, and the Torpedo is a long shaft. So people are always asking about the outboard lengths that you need for a Scamp. So I'm going to show you what each of these outboards look like on the back of the Gig Harbour with an adjustable auxiliary bracket. Okay, the first one I will show you is the Tohatsu. Okay, so here we have the Tohatsu 3.5 4-stroke, and it's in the fully up position. The keel is free of the water, and in my experience with this motor, Sea Dog never really, or the Scamp never really heels so much that this will ever be in the water. So it's always clear of the water in my experience. Now, an issue that you will find with all of these outboards on the back of a scamp is there is the tendency for the main sheet to end up wrapped around things like your starter cord or your tiller. So just be aware of that. So anything that's sort of in this area could get caught on your main sheet. Let's have a look when it's down. Okay, now you can see that the controls are in line with the transom, the top of the transom, which is good. That's ideal. The prop is well and truly in the water. Now there is no problems with the Scamp hobby horsing where that prop will come out of the water. At that level, I've never had the prop come out of the water. Did he move? I think he moved. Let's have a look at the e-propulsion. Okay, so this is the e-propulsion Evo Spirit short shaft. Let's have a look at it in the down position. Okay, now that prop is further in under the level of the water than the Tohatsu, so you're not going to have any problems with this prop coming out of the water. That's ideal. Let's have a look at the Torpedo. This is the Torpedo long shaft and it's in the fully upright position. Let's see if we can click it in. There we go. We can click this one into position. Not a problem. Now the issue with a long shaft on the back of a Scamp is you've got a lot of weight back here. Any weight at the back of a boat is not a good thing, and if you put weight this far out from the back of the boat, you need to consider that you're going to be dragging her bum. It's going to slow you down. Let's have a look at her in the down position. Here we go. All right, so she's in the down position now. Long shaft, well and truly in the water. Now she's so far in the water now that what that's going to do, it's actually going to push your bow out of the water. I personally don't think a long shaft is necessary for a Scamp. I think you can get away with short shafts by using a good auxiliary bracket. Back to the boat. Another question that comes up a lot is the type of life jacket that you should use when you take out dinghies. Now, I actually use two life jackets. I've got this Baltic Sandham, which is a foam-filled vest. I wear that underneath. Now that's rated at 50N, and over the top I've got this inflating yoke, the manual one where you have to pull the draw cord. You have to pull the draw. Now the reason I do that is because it gives me the best of both worlds. So for inland waterways, I can get away with using this one, and then for when I do something a little bit more extreme, I'll put the yoke over the top. And one of the great things about the yoke is that you've got a harness attachment point. Off the yoke, I will attach my Zoleo. I'll have a knife. I have a little lighty light. Little light that, just in case I do fall overboard and I need to be seen at night. I prefer the manual inflating yokes over the automatic ones because I've actually seen these things inflate when a wave will come over and you get soaked, and I've just seen them explode. And another thing that you've got to consider is when these things inflate, if you're at sea and you accidentally pull that, like if it's on the cockpit floor and you put your foot on it and you pull it up, which I've actually done that once as well, you pull it up and you've got your foot on this and it just inflates. If you don't have another spare cartridge or you don't have another spare life jacket, then what are you going to do? You've exhausted your life jackets. So I prefer the foam fields, and then if, like I said, if I'm doing something more extreme, then I'll put the vest over the top. So let me take this off and then I can show you this Sandham vest. This is the Sandham vest made by Baltic Life Jackets in, here we go, in Sweden. And these are fantastic. If you can grab hold of one of these, I highly recommend it. So they've got a foam padding all the way around the life jacket. They're warm, they're comfortable, they've got good zips. I think these are a great bit of kit. You can even wear it down the pub. All right, drop that one. This is called a Zoleo device, and it works off the satellite network. It's a really good device. If you are worried about getting stuck at sea without any mobile communication, I'd highly recommend one of these. They will connect with your phone via Bluetooth, and then it will send text messages via satellite. It's also got an SOS button here that you press if you're overboard or you need help. These are really good, and the app on the phone has got a fantastic interface. They're not an expensive unit, and they're very cheap to run a subscription. Highly recommended. All right, look, we're in a sandwich.
Sandwich.
It is, it's Rob and Joe. There's some fellow guild members.
How you going?
How you going, Rob? Something else I get asked a lot about is the app that I use on my Apple Watch. Now, the Apple Watch is an Apple Watch Ultra, and the app that I use is called WaterSpeed. The app is a standalone app that's on your Apple Watch, but it also runs on your Apple phone. And what it does, it tracks where you're going, the speed. It tracks your average speed. It gives you all these graphs. It even goes into your heart rate, and we're doing 2.5 knots at the moment. You can program that screen to pretty much tell you anything that you need. Yeah, the WaterSpeed app, another thing I highly recommend if you're looking for a very simple app that can run on your watch and on your phone. We're using the E-Propulsion Spirit Evo today. This is a motor that E-Propulsion have actually sent to Smallcraft Tasmania for evaluation, and we'll be doing a full review on this motor shortly. We've used it probably half a dozen times on a couple of our boats, and spoiler alert, it's a brilliant motor. Highly recommend it so far. This bracket is not in the fully down position, and the prop is well and truly under the surface of the water. It's down far enough that hobby horsing would not be an issue with the prop coming out where it is, and it's still got one more position to go if I need it to go any deeper than that. The tiller is probably just at the right position where it is now. I like it there. You can see we're only using 60 watts, and what are we doing? 2.5 knots at 60 watts, 500 watts. Let's have a look, which is half power now. Around about 500 watts there, and we're doing about 3.5 knots, 3.6 knots, 3.7, maybe a little bit faster. Keep in mind that there's a big bloke standing at the back of the boat. Come on, watch, there we go. About 4 knots. Yeah, 4 knots at half speed. Let's crank it up. All right, the turbo's kicked in, and we're doing, come on, I think we're doing a little bit more than that. I reckon we're probably doing closer to 4.5 knots now. Yeah, 4.5 knots. And I've got the sail up, I've got the centerboard down, and we're towing a kayak, and we're doing 4.5 knots. That's impressive. Great motors. So stay tuned, we'll do a full review on this motor soon. This is the regen model, so if you can sail along at 4 or 5, maybe 6 knots, you're going to actually generate power back into the battery. I'll go through all of that in a later episode. This is something else that Joe and I really like. What Joe's sitting on here is a Burke fender.
Well, it's dual purpose as
It's
well.
dual purpose, yeah. So not only is it a fender to protect your boat, it protects your bum. and it raises you just a little bit more so that your knees aren't around your ears. Joe and I are going away overnight, and we've brought with us all of our camping gear to sleep on board, and food, galley box, even the kayak stuff, the Mirage Drive for the Hobie kayak, sleeping bags,
pillows, sleeping mats,
yep,
clothes,
yep,
food,
everything. And it's all up forward, it's all in there. That little esky there is just some day snacks that we want access to. That yellow bag is just a grab bag. I just keep radio and the Zolio and so forth in there. Then we've just got our bucket there that we keep our water bottles in. In this hatch here, I keep 2 anchors plus a drogue. Underneath Joe, in these 2 hatches, I've got the sleeping platform and the poles for the tent. So, and underneath this one, I've got more fenders and lines and repair kits and more safety gear. There's still room. I mean, the amount of storage on a Scamp is extraordinary for a boat that's only 11 foot 11 inches long.
I think we need to touch on Scamp fashion.
Scamp fashion? Oh. Crocs and socks. Yeah, Crocs
special.
and socks.
It's a must-have.
Yeah, I think.
Essential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Gig Harbour need to give away Crocs every time they sell a Scamp. They should give.
Colour coordinated.
This little southerly has picked up. It's only 10 degrees at the moment, and it's going to get down to about 4 or 5 degrees Celsius tonight. It's going to be a chilly night. Just ahead of us, that's Bruny Island. This is Apollo Bay in here. That's Roberts Point there, looking north up to Tinderbox, and then we look south down the D'Entrecasteaux Channel towards South Bruny. So if you're looking to learn how to rig the Scamp, I highly recommend having a look at Falk's demonstration on the Gig Harbour Boatworks YouTube channel. I'll leave the link below. The only difference between how I rig mine up is this. I'll just show you something. So what Falk recommends is to have a bowline loop here, and then you just loop it around your top yard like that. Okay, now that's a fantastic, really simple, easy way of doing it. But what I think is better is running that loop through the eye of the sail up here, okay, and then tying your bowline, tow your bowline around there like this, and okay, so what happens here, and it's happened to me before, is that loop, if you try to reef in heavy weather and this yard's flapping around, I've actually had that loop jump off. That's the only difference that I'd make to how Falk's rigging the Gig Harbour fiberglass Scamps. This is called Jiffy reefing. These are our second reef lines. On the starboard side, we've got our first reef point. So I'll show you how we do that. First of all, we would point the boat into the wind, which Joe is doing now, and I would lower the halyard. Okay, now depending how windy it is, you don't need to drop the sail all the way down. You can just have it at that point if you like, and then we find these reef points, these lines here, pull that nice and tight, cleat that up like so, and we do it here, nice and tight. Okay, and then we pull the halyard back up again, nice and tight. There we are. We've got our second reef in. Now, you'll notice that I don't have reef lines in the middle of the sail. That's optional. You can choose to have those if you want. Because the sail's so small, it doesn't really need those lines in the middle, but that's up to you. I've never found this to be a problem. Got another reef point up here which I've never used. You'd have to be in pretty bad weather just to have that much sail out, but it's good to know it's there. And then to let her out, what we do is you just let the halyard off a little bit, undo the Jiffy reefing again, simple as that, and then we pull the yard up again. There we go. That's it. What's that? 30 seconds. 30 seconds to reef, 30 seconds to shake out the reef. So just remember, if you're going to put the reef lines in mid-sail here and use those points, that when you reef a loose-footed sail, you don't tie the sail around the boom, you tie it around the sail. That's Snake Island. That's where we're heading. So we'll just go on the inside, put the anchor down and set up the tent. This is a nylon anchor made by an Australian company called Cooper Anchors, and I think they're fantastic. They're really light, they don't damage the hull, and they're inexpensive too. On the chain, I've got this sock, and what that does is protects your hull. There you go. All right, now I'll just whack her in reverse. What I do is I let out a bit of rope. Okay. Then what I've got is a bow chock similar to a fair lead, but I think we call this a bow chock on the bow. And I run that back to this cleat here. Cleat that off. Just whack it into reverse again. Find a marker on the land, and you can also feel just then the anchor has set. Simple as that. On the Gig Harbour SCAMP, we've got two positions that we can put this main sheet crossbar, where it was or here. Okay, and all you simply do is put these back into these little holes here, simply like that. All right, now that's attached. It's got a little lip, very simple. This is made out of that plastic wood stuff, I don't know what it's called. That just goes in like that and slides backwards and forwards. Okay, and then this is the rowing thwart. I'll show you how to row a scamp later. That rowing thwart also slides up to this position, and then you can just move that one forward like that. Now, what I'm going to show you is the sleep platform. In order for our sleep platform to be installed, first of all we move, I don't know, whatever this thing's called, we remove that and we take the main sheet out of here, and then I attach this back here, and what that does is I've just moved the main sheet out of the cockpit. So you've got a clear cockpit now. Because what I do is when we set up the tent, I need the main sheet to be out of the cockpit. Sleep platform's out, which we keep down in here. Do it a little bit. Alright, there's one. There's two. 3, 4. We've made these out of, again, it's out of this plastic wood stuff. We actually found this in a dump master. It was being thrown out. I got a heap of it. I've made all sorts of things. It's been really handy. So what we've done is I've made this webbing, used stainless screws, and cut them to size so they fit in here like so. One. There you go. Go. That's our sleep platform. This is what we use for when Joe and I come away in the Scamp and we need the extra room. When I'm sailing the Scamp on my own for overnights, I sleep on the floor, on the cockpit floor.
So the beauty of that platform is there's storage underneath as well, so
That's
you can
right.
put stuff,
Yeah.
you know, from the cuddy
Yeah.
access, which a degree of difficulty but can see, and then you just, you know, you can store stuff that's easily accessible.
Yeah, that's right. So normally what I would do is set up the tent before I'd put the sleeping platform down, but I'm just showing you how the sleeping platform now works while there's light, because we'll set this up later when it's dark and it'll be really hard to show you once the tent's up as well. This is a tent that Joe and I designed with a canvas cover maker who specialises in things going to Antarctica and sailboat covers and all sorts of things. We came up with this design in conjunction with him. So first of all, the whole tent slides into a bolt rope rail that runs across the cabin top, and then it's attached with these stainless press studs. We roll it up when we're not using it, and then when we're using it, we roll it out. This is just a fiberglass tent pole that I found at a camp shop, and I bent it to shape so that it would fit into the Oarlocks like this. So I'll just show you how this looks. Okay. That's basically the frame that the tent sits on, but what I do is I feed this fiberglass pole through the inside of the tent. Find the sleeve just here, and we carefully feed so we get that to about that point there, and then I can stick this in, and I grab the port side like this, same deal, just very gently make the shape. Okay, then press stud, press stud, press stud. Okay, I'll just show you these little flappy flaps. These are the sea dog ears. Alright, so they're breather holes, they're little vents. This is my favourite part, this door. Okay, so we got a zip that runs down either side, and then one, two, buckle my shoe. There you go.
There he is, my little prince.
Take this off. Shove that in there. And then we've got like a little cuddy cab. And I can actually sail it like this. I just run the main sheet from here and I can sail it. So if I've got kids or anybody that wants to stay out of the weather, they can go into the cuddy cab. I can stay out here and sail. Very cool. So we've just come ashore onto Snake Island. If you're fans of swallows and Amazons, I highly recommend having a look at John Tucker's series of books, and particularly the one that's about this island, those Snake Island kids. I'll leave a link below. Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like there's been a fire here not long ago.
Yeah, it was in the summer.
Yeah. Once upon a time, fishermen would come and stay in here. So this is the main camping area here, and you can see fishermen set up a campsite, fireplace, and unfortunately one of the fires has gotten away. Great spot. So we use Joe's Hobie as our tender sometimes. And if you've seen our trip up the Pyman River, me pedalling with Joe sitting behind in some pretty rough windy conditions, well now you're going to see me standing behind Joe while she's pedaling. You ready? Okay, oh, let me get on. Okay. These are fantastic, guys. If you haven't tried a Hobie, give them a go.
Is that down? I can't see.
Yep. Rudder's down. Okay. There you go. Little tiny tender.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus. Watch it. Okay, I'll get out. Come on. Okay, I can't hold this camera and get in, so I'm going to have to press stop. Sorry,
what a
guys.
shame.
You going to come aboard?
Yeah. Too late for sunglasses.
Like that.
Whoopsie daisy.
This is a little heater that's made by Origo. I don't think you can get these new anymore. You have to find them second hand. But not only are they a heater, but you can take your top off and you can cook on them too. And very, very safe. They run on metho and there's no fuel that can spill out. So when you're on a boat, they're quite safe. So if you can find one of these, there it is, Origo Heat Pal. They're really good. We prefer to not take a galley box as such onto our scamp. Instead, we have Tupperware containers, or these plastic tubs that we throw everything into, and that way we can compartmentalize everything in different parts of the boat if we need to. We can also take it apart and take it ashore. We can throw it in a backpack, so it just works better for us. And I think the Trangie is a crack of a stove. Anyway, I've got a little bit of water in here, and I'm going to boil that, and then we've got some stir-fried rice that we cooked up last night. We're just going to throw that into the water, heat it, and that's our dinner.
Easy.
What do you reckon?
I'm hungry.
Good. What a beautiful evening. Good tucker. Okay.
Tucker time.
It's night time.
Boom, chicka, chicka, boom, boom, boom. I'm not gonna do that thing.
What? What are you talking about? So this is all our stuff that we need at hand, and let me just turn on the torch so you can see what's going on down there. Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. There's nothing to see here. There's our little breathers, little breather holes there. There's our window so that we can see the stars and the moon. And we've been in this tent in pretty heavy rain, and it's never leaked. Not one drip. It's been really well made. There you go. I'm sitting up, cross-legged, under the tent. Joe is
trying to go to sleep.
So this boat is 11 foot 11 inches long. Tiny.
It's roomy though.
There's heaps of room. Yeah. Yeah. It's a very clever design. Okay. Good night. See you in the morning.
Night.
Morning. It's a heavy dew.
I don't I'm not even awake.
Let's get this all cleaned up and make some breakfast. Coffee time. Breakfast of champions. Yummo. Doctor tells me I have to take this pill every day. It's supposed to stop me from wanting to buy another boat. I don't think they work. Our kayaking friends have just left. And they were responsible for filling all of those bags full of weeds and rubbish from off the island. Good job, guys. Let's go. Oh, it's so quiet. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to row a scamp, let me show you. So the first thing you need to do is get your oars out. These are a 2-piece aluminium oar that are made by a company called Ocean South. We use these Gaco Oarlocks. Now these are the best on the market. Don't settle for anything less. Have a look at these, they're fantastic. Stick these over. Join your oars together. Let me put that there. And you'll notice that there's a little arrow. Now that arrow points to the bow, into your slot. Starboard side, same deal. This is our rowing thwart back here. So we pull the pins out and we slide the thwart back. Slide the thwart back in line with these 2 pins here. So there we go, and then we get into position. Now I'm in position, got my oars, set the rudder to the center, and then what I'll do is I'll hand over the GoPro to my trusty assistant over here. Here we go, rowing a scamp. We're moving along, it's okay. It's not hard work. I think it'd be a bit similar to rowing a sofa. Joe's checking in on the kids.
Oh, right.
Look at this day.
Great.
Another cool little jigger. This is called a tiller clutch. Some people call them a helm impeder. These are very simple. Basically, that's in the locked position, so the helm can't move. It will move if you put enough force on it. It will slip through. Otherwise, you click it up like that and you can move your tiller. If you haven't already got one of these on your boat and you do a lot of single-handed sailing, I think they're a must-have. Very handy if you need to go forward, do something up here, for example. You know the boat's always going in a straight line. I'll give the camera to Joe and I'll give you an example of how stable this boat is. I don't suggest that everybody do what I'm about to do, but I'm just doing this to give you an example of how stable the Scamp is. 100 kilos, and there's probably about 60 kilos worth of stuff up forward in the hatches. We've probably got about 20 kilos on this side, 20 kilos on this side. The little outboard on the back, probably about 20 kilos as well. That's not going, by the way. We're just sailing along under the breeze. Impressive, isn't it? Great design. Thanks for watching the episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. We've tried to share some of our tips and tricks for the Scamp and how Joe and I like to sleep on board. The Scamp, incredibly capable design. The criteria was for John Welsford to design something for Small Craft Advisor magazine under 12 feet. He's hit the nail on the head. It's probably the most capable expedition boat under 12 feet, probably even under 15 feet, I don't know. You tell me. Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching. Stay salty. And then you can just slide that back in again. Like so. Come on, slide in, like so. Okay. It's really easy. Oh, friggy. Oh no, come on. Okay.
Okay, hang on. I can't take this position anymore. I cannot do it anymore. You might just stop filming.
Yeah.